L1 sort the mean. We don't have units here, so it's just 3.67. Hey, mode is -5. -5 shows up. I can tell that it shows up twice. The median is 6. The range, this is where it gets tricky. You go largest minus the smallest value, which is -5. Okay, so you have to make sure that you add. The range is actually 17 units between the highest and the lowest value. So when you have a double negative, make sure you don't subtract, you actually add. Because you're trying to find the distance between -5 and 12, right? There's 17 units in between. Standard deviation would be 5.93, which on its own doesn't really mean a whole lot. Standard deviation is particularly helpful when you compare it to other data sets. Okay, let's keep going. So that's just no losses there if you didn't do it. Here, by the way, this goes straight into L1. No need for midpoints here. There's no need for midpoints because there's no width, right? It's not from here to here. So this goes straight into L1, straight into L2. If you see anything with frequency or a table like this where you have a measurement and the number of values that meet that criteria, L1, L2 it is, right? So you go one variable stats. If you didn't do this today, that's fine. But I would strongly encourage you to do that. And so what you get there is 33.23 meters, because now we have a unit, right? So take off half once if you forgot that. The range is actually largest minus smallest, because we actually do have actual values here. So it'd be 36.5 minus 28.5, right? 28.5 is the lowest, 36.5 is the highest. So there's an 8-meter range that we're talking about. Sample size, I don't know if I talked about, did I talk about sample size? No? It's N. N is like your sample. So it's like this addition here. So mark it wrong if you didn't do it, but don't take off marks today for it, okay? Make it fair. I try to be fair. Oh, sorry, it's not 13 meters, it's just 13 values, right? These could be trees. Well, trees, yeah, it could be. It could be trees, it could be something, but it's just 13 units, okay? So we don't know what it would be. Standard deviation, you put that into L1 and L2, of course, and when you figure out your mean, you figure this one out as well, which is 3.17. And that is in meters, okay? Everything except for N is based on whatever you put into L1. Okay, that's usually the rule of thumb there. Name the graph that uses bar graphs. That's histograms. State the graph that plots the midpoints versus the frequency. These would be frequency polygons. Okay, so when you connect the midpoints and you show the frequency, that's frequency polygons, it's histograms for bars, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 marks. So out of 6 so far for this page. Actually, sorry, sample size. Make it out of 5. So if you get that one, it's 6 out of 5. You get an extra bonus. You can get bonuses all day today, right? That's just how I roll today. I don't want to take off marks for something you didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like that. So true or false, vertically opposite angles are supplementary. That's a false. They're the same, right? The vertically opposite, we're talking, right? This angle and that angle, they're the same. True or false, corresponding angles are supplementary. That's also false. They're the same, right? Corresponding would be this one and this one, for example, and they're the same. State an angle that's complementary to this. It'd be 56 degrees. It's right to complement someone, right as a 90 to complement someone. So it should add up to 90, okay? These are all bonus. If you didn't do them, it doesn't affect you. What's the vertex of this? We know because A is positive that the parabola will look like this. So you have to find the vertex going second trace min. Okay, you have to go second trace min to get that. And that's 2.5, negative 12.25. Okay, so if you got that, you're good to go. So you got 4 bonus marks. So this is still out of 5. Whatever mark you have here, add however many bonus marks you got to it, and then put the total there. So you can easily score 9 out of 5. Okay, you can possibly even score 10 out of 5 if you got sample size, right? If you knew what to do there. Keep going to the back side. So what had to happen here, I apologize for, this is supposed to be a 2, okay? I grew up like we always did like a 2 like this, and it kind of got butchered. I don't know what happened. That's a 2. So 105 to 101, you add them up, you divide it by 2, you need your midpoint. So 103, 108, 113, 118, 123, 128, 133, 138, 143, 148, 153, and 158. Sorry, but that had to happen. So I'll give you a mark for that step for midpoints. If you did that correctly, you get the mark. And it says to find the mean and the standard deviation. So we put that into L1, sorry, this is into L2. We go one variable stats, L1, L2, and the mean is 130.36. And we don't know what the units are, but scores, bowling scores, so you can go points. Standard deviation would be 12.05 points. That's all I ask you for. One thing that I tend to include is 144, and that would be, in this case, games that are considered. You don't have to have that. I didn't ask for it, but I'm just letting you know, okay? So I will just give you a mark for this step. So a mark for the midpoints, a mark for figuring out the mean and standard deviation. If you got the midpoints wrong, if you didn't even use it, hold on. This is what I'm going to do. Midpoints gets you 1 mark. You using L1 and L2 gets you another mark, and then 1 mark for actually stating this correctly. Why so? Yeah.
I forgot to do the numbers.
This?
Yeah.
That's okay. No loss there. I never asked for it. So 1 for actually showing me that you did the midpoints. The other one for actually showing me that you're using L1 and L2. And the other one, that. So let's say you didn't write down L1 and L2 today. We're going to let it go. If your answers match mine, we're assuming that you used L1 and L2. So no deductions there. What I would say is if you didn't do this step, that's why you got different answers, you probably would have had, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 as your n, because you're only considering 12 values. So that's one way to check. So then lose another mark for not using L1 and L2, okay? So you be the judge on that one. That's like the worst table I've ever seen. I wonder who made that one. If Team B has a mean of 140 and a standard deviation of 20, how does it compare to Team A? Explain. So I'm going to try to have them both on there. Yeah, so in terms of average, Team B is doing better. So you can talk about that, okay? Team B has a greater average, okay? And therefore scores higher scores higher most of the time. Okay? And I'm going to stick with Team B, right? Team B is less consistent due to a higher standard deviation. If you want to nerd out, you say a higher standard deviation, a greater standard deviation means that the scores are spread out. There you go. And so I will give you 2 marks for this. One where you talk about, it doesn't matter if you talked about Team A and you stuck with Team A, you're like Team A has a lower average, therefore scores lower most of the time. Team A, though, is more consistent because it has a lower standard deviation. Like if you came from Team A's perspective, that's just fine. But one talks about the average, one talks about the standard deviation. Okay, so that's where you get your 2 marks from for this page. So 5 marks for this back page, 5 for the front page, which makes this a total out of 10. Obviously, you could have scored 15 out of 10. How so? If you got the sample size right, that's a 1 bonus, and then if you got those 4 questions that were designated bonus, then you get another 4. Okay?